Hey, wonderful people, how the dickens are you? Today, would you believe I'm talking about demons and asking the question, am I channeling demons when I channel the emissaries? I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So the other day, on my YouTube feed, there appeared a little video, a little thumbnail that said, "Are you channeling demons?" And I didn't shy away from it. I thought, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I always like to question everything and I like to be open to other people's opinion. Well, as you might imagine, the guy was just quoting from the Bible, constantly saying that if you have any connection at all with beings that profess to be beings of light, they are demons, because the Bible says so. Okay, so I already know that. So it wasn't. I just thought maybe, they might say, read these signs. These are the red flags to know. No, he just said if you do it, you're channeling demons. So I thought, well, I'll ask the emissaries, because I've always been very careful about what I do. I've always made sure that I protect myself and stuff like that. I never worry about being approached by demons. I'm never worried about it. It's never been my thing. But I'm aware that it happens, and I'm aware that some people have a propensity for it. Some people have a over propensity, I would say. Like, every time I hear them talk, they've been attacked by demons. It's like, psychic attacks or whatever. I think, for God's sake, get yourself sorted out, protect yourself a bit, sort yourself out. Anyway, I asked the emissaries, how do I know that you aren't demons? Okay. And there was a pause, and they said, well, first of all, what we have to do is let you understand the idea of what demons want from you. So you know that the devil appears as an angel of light. I've heard lots and lots of people who've got involved in satanic worship and demonic worship and things like that, and they all tell the same story, which is, well, it started off very nicely, and then little by little, very quickly in fact, I noticed that they were demanding things of me. They were asking me to do things that wasn't really resonating with me. Okay? So the emissary said, we're going to ask you some questions. They said, in the probably 5 years now, in the 5 years that we have been talking with you, have we asked you to do anything that didn't resonate with you and that made you feel uncomfortable? The answer is no. They've never asked me to do anything except one thing at the beginning, which was, please, will you give this message? They have suggested that I did courses, definitely, and they downloaded a course to me. But the course was like, how to ascend the ego. Nothing much demonic about that. So they've never, ever asked me to do something that I didn't want to do, or that I thought, not very good. Not only that, but when I've ever said to them, hey, I'm thinking about doing this, what do you think? The only thing they've ever said to me is, do it. Do it. If you follow your heart, that's what they've always said to me. Just follow your heart, Gordon. What you do will be right for you. Okay? If it resonates with you. So, number one, they've never done that of like, and we want you to go and do this and say this and do these horrible things and whatever. Never. Ever. So, red flag number one, gone. Then they said, also, when you're dealing with demons, the message changes. So at the beginning, it's all nice and super, and the messages tend to feed the ego. Right, the very egoic messages. You're the best. You're the dog's bollocks, and all of that. And then, little by little, the message then changes. And then they start telling them what they've got to do and blah, blah, blah. And then they become very unhappy. So the emissary said, has our message changed? And the truth is, no. You can go back and listen to the very first messages that the emissaries give me, and listen to them, and they're as current then, now, as they were then. Nothing's changed. There's nothing that they've said that is any different. And, even to the point of repetition. And, I know that they repeat the message. Why? Because they've got one message. So over 5 years, they're going to keep repeating that message. And so I'm going to keep repeating the message. But it's the same message. The message of hope. Message of the Great Awakening, that it's happening and it's coming and don't worry about it and get prepared. That's it. That's all. That's all they've ever said. And so no, the message has never changed. And then they reminded me of something I used to say a lot. To judge somebody is not to listen to the words, but to watch the actions, to watch how they perform. And if we use that on politicians, well, they've failed, have they not? Because the words have nothing to do with the actions. And it's the same with the emissaries, not politicians. That I've watched how they behave, how they talk to me, how they communicate with me, the love and the joy and the excitement that they have when we communicate, and that's never changed. And they're always true to the word, they're true to what they say. They never go off track, they never go off course. There's only one time that they ever give me a message and I doubted whether I wanted to share it. And all that was a message of saying, get prepared, it's going to get tough, right? But then now I share that because it's getting tough and I'm sure it's going to get tougher at points. So that isn't a bad message. I just didn't know whether it was the right thing to share at the time. And remember, I did a live when they'd given me that message, and I thought I'd talk to people live and they can ask questions. But other than that, everything's been hunky-dory, tickety-boo, as they say. So I said to them, tell me then, emissaries, why is it in the Bible? Because in the Bible it's very clear that you shouldn't be talking to the spirits of the dead and stuff like that. Not that the emissaries are dead. They're very much alive, and I don't talk to the spirits of the dead, but hey, it's all of that. What's interesting, as I was thinking about that, is that so many books of the Bible are visions that were given, and many of them way out there visions. The book of Daniel, for example, way out. I think Daniel might have strolled through a field of psilocybin magic mushrooms before he had that vision. And Revelation, pretty dodgy on the old, streaming, channeling story. In the Bible, tons of people heard voices. Tons of people, tons of them were hearing voices telling them to do stuff all the time. And so it's in the Bible. I mean, how many people were visited by the angels? I remember one, I can't remember who it was. The angel kept pushing his hip out of joint or whatever. And then in the Sodom and Gomorrah, when the angels went down to warn Lot about packing up his lot and getting the hell out of there. There's been loads of interaction between light beings and humankind in the Bible. But it tells you shouldn't do it. Well, the emissary said, well, what we have to think about is by them making that a no-no, by them not allowing true Christians who believe in the Bible, by not allowing them to open up to that as a possibility, can you imagine the control that they have? Imagine the lack of control if all of the people who were devout Christians were also open to receiving messages. Good ones, okay? But messages all the same. Guidance. Everything would fall apart, wouldn't it? The whole doctrine, the whole idea, and remember, religion generally is this. Religion is this. I have the information, I have a connection with God, and you can only connect to God through me or through us, because we are the connection with God. And so it's like this barrier that they put in. Imagine if that barrier wasn't there and everybody was connecting with God or whatever, whatever that energy is. Imagine what the world would be like. It would be uncontrollable. So it would make sense, would it not, to tell people not to do it. Don't do that. Don't be connecting with your higher self and with these beautiful spirit beings. Don't be doing that because that's demonic. And, it's like this weird upside down thing. Don't connect with these beautiful beings because it's demonic. And the devil's the father of the lie, is he not? And it's a beautiful lie, that, isn't it? Like, if you receive messages, you're only listening to demons. And so it's very easy to reject that kind of thing, or to dismiss it, or to be very scared of it. And what happens when we're scared? When we're scared, we're giving off the wrong vibe. And when you're scared, what kind of beings are you going to be attracting to yourself? To attract the right beings, for me to communicate with the emissaries, I've got to be in a great space. I wouldn't do it if I was crying my eyes out, or if I was angry, or I was scared or whatever. I wouldn't do it. That wouldn't be the right time. Well, it's the same for everybody. We've got to be in a good place to connect. And if we're scared, thinking, oh my God, these are demons, fait accompli, as they say in French. I think they say that in French. But it's like a done deal, is it not? A self-fulfilling prophecy. And I think there's far too much talk about demons and psychic attacks and demonic attacks. I think there's too much talk about it. I think people get too tied up on it and too focused on it. I think, it's like racism. Racism exists because everyone won't stop fucking talking about it. Now in the world that we live in, I'm talking about the Western world, it's like the last thing that people are is that. The last thing. And yet it's talked about all of the time, and it's used as a little slur word for everybody. Well, it's the same with demonization. If you talk about it all the time, all you're doing is maintaining it, giving it strength. Stop talking about it. Talk about nice stuff. Talk about connecting with God, with the beautiful light beings that are out there. That would be my suggestion. Moving away from the demons, putting them to one side. Once you turn your back on them, once you remove your energy, there's nothing to feed on. They'll just go off. They'll go and look for somebody else. Somebody who's open to a few more attacks on a daily basis. And they'll leave you alone. Not that you've even had an experience like that. It always seems to be somebody else. Anyway, that's it. So, no, the emissaries are not demons, according to the emissaries. Well, they would say that, wouldn't they? But according to me, they're not either. And if I do have any other signs, I'll let you know, but I don't think so. Not after 5 years. I think they would either have the patience of Job, right, to bring another Bible character into play. The patience of Job will not do anything for 5 years. And then we'll let him have it. I don't think so. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Hey, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Have you got your doubts? Do you worry about it? Or have you been psychically attacked? Don't write that. Yeah, I do. But just don't go on about it. Just say, yeah, it happened to me once. Has it happened to you recently? What have you done to put it right? What have you done to protect yourself? Okay, I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.